says, it is precisely touch that is the resonating world of the gap or interval. Touch is literally created by a resonant interval between, say, the hand and the thing. When you touch something, you got to be able to let go and then touch it again. If there were any connection between the hand and the thing, there would be no hand. The gambler is above all the man who must stay in touch. Now think of everybody looking at their digital cell phone, their iPhone, or watching the news media. The news junkies is called.
Right.
They're trying to find if there's an indication of change. They're not conservatives. They're not hoping there's no change. They hope there's an indication of change so that we can get past the simultaneous blank out, blur, wipe out. The gambler is above all the man who must stay in touch. And in the new physics of the instantaneous electric environment, it is precisely the resonant interval or touch that characterizes the information that constitutes the universal accessibility of instant information. Again, he's repeating the simultaneous factor. So he says, for the dominant environment of our age has itself become information or software. Not money. It's become information, talking, yakking, typing, monitoring, everything of electric media. He says, since at electric speed, any figure tends to become a ground. That means looks like it's the anchor for me to get an identity from. And anything, however trivial, can acquire infinite mass. That's obvious, people today. Any little story about any celebrity acquires infinite mass. You used to talk about the model who didn't want to get paid in dollars, wanted to get paid in euros, and that went global, that story.
Oh, yeah. That's the Victoria's Secret model, Giselle. That's right.
Right, and she became temporarily a ground, only for 24 hours. A ground meaning everybody's looking at it.
That's right.
Okay, so the figure acquires infinite mass. The temptation and the desire to gamble with everything and anything becomes obsessive as a result of that. When anything can become ground, you're going to gamble with anything. $1. Now, here's the only real explanation of inflation. $1 at the speed of light can do as many transactions as $1 million back before electricity at pre-electric speed. Quantitative projections and rational critiques cannot cope here when $1 can do millions of operations. So this leads to this group mind effect. In the new electric environment, almost any situation has a structure eligible for gambling. Anything. Much as Lloyd's of London was prepared to insure any part of the body, the butts, the legs, or even states of mind and popularity, against the whims of chance. And the whims of chance are people reacting and looking for any kind of change inside the Niagara Falls of simultaneity. Right? Mm-hmm. Using the language of Gestalt psychology, which came up with the terms figure and ground, it could be said that inflation makes everything a figure against the ground of public interest, against the ground of attention. Who's paying attention to what? And so you gamble on what's going to be the next obsessive fad. Figure and ground constitute what?
That's right.
Yeah. So figure and ground constitute the structure of most situations, and they are in perpetual interface of flux. However, in the pulsating world of the intervals and electric information, there are innumerable opportunities to seize and abstract the interval itself as a new kind of object to be exploited. So the derivatives came in just as the digital technology came in, and the old electronic tactile gap became the content, like Enron playing with the electronic utilities of California. The tactile gap became the content of the digital medium. And so people started to gamble with these little gaps. And that led to the derivatives. Yet, as we said last week, they were not doing anything in the old paper certificate sense of supply and demand. They did not give up anything to the buyer, and the buyer didn't receive anything, even though they could take the gap and claim they got 10 million shares for 5 years.